And we're back, everyone, here with game 2 of Imagine Wagons facing off against DoV Chaos. After a very one-sided game 1, DoV Chaos just absolutely ripping apart Imagine Wagons there after a small mistake from Imagine Wagons. And with game 2, hopefully Imagine Wagons can bounce back. And there have been some roster changes here for the side of Imagine Wagons. They've got Wild Goose Chase switching from the mid lane into the top lane here. And for the mid lane, they've brought in Loco Spoon to sort of take things over here and hopefully make a difference here in game 2, change things up low. And it will be DoV Chaos on the blue side here for game 2. And they're banning out the Jhin, Leona, Warwick, Amumu, and Jax here. So despite the Amumu not being terribly effective game 1, they just don't want to see it in game 2 here. And for Imagine Wagons, they're banning out Thresh, Trundle, Volibear, and that empty ban there should be the Olaf here. So they're denying the Olaf from DoV Chaos, which Sonic Abs played to such great effect here. And the last man gonna be the Jarvan here. So DoV Chaos gonna first pick the Fiddlesticks again. Worked so well for them for SSJR. Imagine Wagons, interestingly enough, not banning it. I hope they do build Healing Cut a bit earlier this game, though. Will nullify a lot of that usefulness from SSJR. The Senna once again, so it will likely be that Fiddle Senna bot lane. Rumble, Ornn, and Pantheon, so they're changing things up on their top side here, and that's most likely going to be a jungle Pantheon. We've seen a lot of mid lane Pantheon, but we've not actually seen that much jungle Pantheon so far in the split, so definitely looking forward to that one. Very aggressive early jungler with that reliable point and click stun as well, so should be a lot of early game action out of Sonic Abs, and that fits right up with his playstyle that we saw with the Olaf here in game 1. For Imagine Wagons, they're picking a Jinx Lulu bot lane to start things off. Really solid scaling for themselves here, so they are looking for that later game. They've gone with Lux, Sejuani, and Singed as well. And the last time we saw Singed, it was such a big annoyance for the enemy team that you couldn't leave him alone. He'd take your turrets with that Demolish, but you couldn't chase him either, or you'd end up just not finding anything on the map. I'm looking very much forward to seeing Wild Goose Chase play this champion and how it will work out, because it can be so very effective here in gold and silver elos. And the Lux as well for Loco Spoon, so they will have the wave clear as well. And especially into the Rumble, it is a bit of a favorable matchup, has a lot of range there, so can keep themselves safe, should be able to poke out the Rumble. Hopefully that one works out better for them. So I'm liking that counter pick with the Lux here, and compositionally too. Once again for Imagine Wagons, they've got a solid composition here. They've got that solid front line. They've got the Lulu to try and keep XX Wolf alive on that Jinx as much as possible. And Jinx, when she does skill up, has the range, has the damage to be able to win these fights. And for the side of DoV Chaos here, they actually have a nicer composition, I think, this game than they did last game. Not as poke heavy though. They don't have the Corki here, but the Rumble Ornn combination can be absolutely devastating when you put that equalizer down on the second call of the Ornn Horn there. It can do a lot of work, and they do have to be careful though. Senna does skill, but she's not a tank buster, so we'll have problems ripping through Granddaddy Jax. We'll have problems ripping through Wild Goose Chase. A lot of the damage going to have to come out from Judas, in that mid lane with the Leandries here to sort of shred down those tanks, but it's not as reliable. So I am looking at DoV Chaos to be the one to be proactive here, looking to make things happen, or Sonic Abs could potentially just fall off completely here and become irrelevant to the game. And now the teams here are on to Summoner's Rift. We have loaded on the Beekeeper Singed skin there. One of my favorite Singed skins as well. And just, yeah, for DoV Chaos here, they are going to have to look for ganks, look for action basically, especially for Sonic Abs, and that doesn't seem to be a problem. He is a very aggressive jungler, does often look to influence his lanes, and he does have the good lanes for it as well. Ornn in that top lane should have an early favorable matchup against Singed, because Singed generally quite weak in the early game as well. Has to watch his mana and doesn't trade that great into tanks, and the brittle from the Ornn as well will allow Troodog to theoretically win up that top lane. And in the bot lane, we've seen how much poke Dolphin and SSJR can really put down. They do have to be careful though. This is not the engage heavy bot lane that they faced last game. Spenlow now on a much safer defensive champion on that Lulu, and that means they're going to be able to just poke damage here. They don't have to look for the engage, and the short range of Fiddlesticks here means that he is vulnerable to that poke. Will still be able to heal up quite a bit though, so should be fine. And yes, that is a Grasp of the Undying Singe. Definitely not a common pick here. Usually we see the Conquerors coming out from Singe, but actually Grasp does give a bit of an better, safer early game, a bit more sustained, and it's actually very difficult to stack the Conquerors in the 1v1 against in the early games against champions who don't want to necessarily engage with you, who just happily walk out of your poison and focus on the minions instead. So we'll have to see how this one turns out for Wild Goose Chase here. And so far, he's trading right away. The poison stacks are applying. If he's going to be this aggressive, that Grasp of the Undying doing a lot of work. And he's actually managed to force Truodog out really, really early here, surprisingly, for Truodog. And I do believe Truodog did indeed start his W, so it looks like he probably did not get the full amount of damage. And we see Walkushi's base... no, he was just taunting in the bush there. It looked like he was going to recall for a moment, but no, he's not actually doing that. Now does have the flip as well, and that does do % health damage. So the Wild Goose Chase can continue pressing his lead here. He might actually be able to win this top lane surprisingly early. And I mean, wasn't expecting him to win it early, but once he picks up a Leandries for himself here, should do quite decently into the Ornn matchup in that top lane there. And he has actually faced extremely early, picked himself up the Corrupting Potion and a ward, so no real items, just running back to base immediately here. Interesting choice from him, so he will get back to lane, can look to get another one of those heavy engages there, look to try and find some sort of lead by doing that, but he is sacrificing minions to do this, so interesting choice, and we'll have to check back later to see how that goes, because Granddaddy Jack was looking for a gank in the mid lane here, did not manage to find anything. Judas just backing off right away. Instead, it's going to be Sonic Abs here, finding him instead. And we do see the collapse starting, the flash coming out immediately, but they're going to full up the flash because Sonic Ab wants to kill. Instead, it's going to be mid lane. Judas picking up the solo kill onto Loco. And Sonic Ab's able to pick his one up as well. So that's 2 kills here for the side of DoV Chaos to start their game up. And this is exactly what the doctor ordered for DoV Chaos, and specifically for Sonic Abs. He finds Hunts Downs and negates Granddaddy Jax a little bit, keeps him further behind, and they managed to get themselves a kill. The first blood going over to Judas in that mid lane though, and he was already seeming to do quite decently into Loco Spoon. So with that first blood there, once he goes and picks up his buy here, spending some of that hard-earned gold, he should be in an even better position. And bot lane, Dolphin taking a bit of poke as he's trying to return fire here, but Spenlow and XX Wolf just able to pump out the damage, and SSJR having to burn a lot of his mana just trying to heal himself, keep himself healthy there in that lane. We do see the top lane is just trading here. It doesn't look like that early back did benefit Wild Goose Chase at all, really. He is down a level from missing that CS. And Truodog, being that Ornn, doesn't have to go back to base to buy items here. He can just build them in lane. So definitely not seeming to work out here for Wild Goose Chase, at least in the early game. We'll have to see how this one works out as the game gets later and later. He goes in for the flip, but it wasn't worth it. He was already so low. He does get Truodog under turret, but he sacrifices his life as exchange. Does at least get the flash though out of Truodog, so hopefully might be able to find something with the assistance of either Granddaddy Jax or Loco Spoon here. It's going to be a bit of a rough start, and now Dolphin in that bot lane, standing out really far. Sonic Abs looking in to find something as well. Does not have the flash available, and it looks like he will not be able to find the stun there. So Spenlow able to be safe for now. But still, that was a lot of damage put down onto XX Wolf, onto Spenlow. They will have to be careful. If they get hit by another Root or Fear, they could potentially get bursted down just in the 2v2 situation here. Granddaddy Jax once more looking for a gank. He did run over a ward though, but Judas was extended quite far, so will not be able to run away. Instead, he's going to drop the equalizer and turn right around. Granddaddy Jack's extremely low. Just one more auto will do it. He cancels it. Does finally pick it up though, and it's going to turn onto the Loco Spoon because Loco Spoon not yet level 6. Does not have that final spark available yet. Judas in that mid lane is becoming an absolute menace here for the side of Imagine Wagons. They threw a gank his way and he still finds himself a kill. The root lands. Loco Spoon doesn't have enough mana though to follow up with the full combination, or they might potentially have been able to find a kill. Instead, it's going to be Wild Goose Chase running in, applying the poison stacks, and it's doing a lot of work here. We do see the Nimbus cloak being popped. He gets flipped back, and this will be Judas going down here. It's just going to take quite a bit of time. He's going to flash over, pick up the shutdown, and Wild Goose Chase resetting his gold values, picking up 150 gold bounty, and that should do quite nicely. He finds 2 stacks here for the Darksteel and does manage to even up the gold count in that top lane for now. But every time he roams like that and Truodog does it, Truodog does manage to get continued extended gold lead for himself. Looking like he's already starting the components here for the Abyssal Mask. Will be looking to complete the Catalyst next, and with that Catalyst complete, he will have so much sustain in lane as well. Now, a level and a half up from Wild Goose Chase. We'll have to see how that one goes. And Sonic Abs, surprisingly, been a bit more quiet in this early game. A lot of action has just been focused on that mid lane. He might be looking to try and get that Grand Skyfall here. Is level 6. We'll have to see where he decides to throw that one, but just standing around there is not efficient for him. Judas is applying damage. The burn is on and does manage to already chunk Loco for about 40% of the health. Now Dragon being started up here by Granddaddy Jax. He is taken kind of low. Has to be careful. Grand Skyfall coming down. They will look for the kill, and the bot lane is not there. They will be able to... No, the heals coming out will keep Granddaddy Jax alive, but it's going to be the Smite Steal and the Equalizer to secure the Ocean Drake here, and Judas picking up a double kill on the back of that. Truodog using the teleport into the bot lane, looking to try and find Spenlow. Can he do it? Even if he doesn't, because of all that speed up and shields, Judas should be able to get Loco. No, a good flash from Loco Spoon will keep him alive, but Judas having none of it. Gonna use his flash as well to catch up. That's gonna be another kill. 3 kills going the way of DoV Chaos, and things are looking dire for Imagine Wagons once again. Bright spot for them is at least Wild Goose Chase gonna be able to continue pushing this top wave. He has managed to climb his way out of the CS deficit for now, and is gonna be able to get some plates as well in that top lane. Will be nice for him. But Judas now 3,900, almost 4,000 gold for himself right now. Is almost 1,000 gold ahead. Is more than 1,000 gold at this moment ahead of the next closest person, and that would be Wild Goose Chase in that top lane here. So starting to become a problem, a sticking point, and if the mid lane gets has such an immovable object here, it really does hinder Imagine Wagons from rotating. And Granddaddy Jax is so far behind as well. You saw how squishy was the Dragon doing so much damage as well once the Equalizer came down and Sonic Abs came in. Now the Stormcrow coming up. XX Wolf going to get separated from his support here, and Spenlow, not yet 6, does not have the Wild Growth. We will see XX Wolf get completely bursted down there. And they're just having trouble across the board. Bot lane and mid lane, they're just losing that flat out. Top lane as well. I hesitate to say that they're losing that, but they aren't exactly winning it either. And the Senna ultimate gonna come across. Not gonna be able to find Spenlow, and Granddaddy Jax and Loco Spoon have rotated themselves down there, but they can't find anything because Dolphin already started backing out. Now SSGR going aggressively in. He does have the heal available, but there's so much CC. Equalizer gonna come across, and they're gonna be able to find Spenlow. Dolphin gonna just barely be able to throw out the barrier, but will still get popped, and that's now a double kill here for Judas. He's gonna keep on looking, but XX Wolf has finally respawned and arrived. Can he dissuade Judas? No, he can't. But they will buy enough time for Granddaddy Jax to get away. A beautiful toss here from Wild Goose Chase to stop the Ornhorn. Will still get busted down. The flash to proc that Brittle. We'll see Wild Goose Chase did one more time, and they're going to flash in that bot lane as well. SSG are looking for the kill, Instead, it's going to be Judas picking himself yet another kill. That's effectively a triple kill in that bot lane here for himself. He's going to be 8-1-0 here. A full 2/3 of his team's kills. Top lane, they drop Shelly. They're looking to pick themselves up the first turret, but they're going to have to race against this bot side here, but it looks like, nah, Judas going to back off. He doesn't want to stick around, overextend, and give up his bounty once again. So it's going to be top lane getting DoV Chaos their first tower gold here. And to a certain extent, that long lane is going to benefit Wild Goose Chase a little bit. Do not chase the Singed. Works best when there's a lot of distance to chase that Singed with. So we'll have to see if they decide to rotate Troodog out of that top lane instead, where he can start applying his ultimate to other lanes, where they can start sieging lanes, because that mid lane turret is down to about half health. They're not the healthiest. Bot lane down to about 20% as well. So they could just brute force this here for DoV Chaos. They are up just under 5,000 gold here for themselves, which is a really solid lead. And a lot of that just sitting on Judas. I don't think anybody can face Judas right now, and you can't. I don't think any two people, for that matter, can face Judas here. You see the Grand Skyfall coming across. He's going to flash in, but a beautiful polymorph to stop the follow-up damage. The stun will not be able to continue. The shield will block some of that turret shots, but he's still going to get taken low. Now Equalizer coming across the back line will separate Spenlow out, but it's going to be Troodog going down. Did not have the ultimate available, and now Wild Goose Chase with that teleport looking to find some more kills. The final spark will find Sonic Abs, and Imagine Wagons finding themselves a really good fight here. Wild Goose Chase is running in, will grab SSJR now, and now he's going to get isolated, get popped here. The heals will not be enough, and they find their third kill in that bot lane fight here. Judas was on the flank, did apply the equalizer, but then decided nope, he doesn't want to be here because he saw the fight going south real quick here, and he's just going to push the mid lane instead, but does have to be careful as everybody's running up there. You've got Wild Goose Chase, Granddaddy Jackson, Loco Spoon just charging up, and the pings come up from his team. Judas will be able to get out safely, and this might mean the Mountain Drake gonna go the way of Imagine Wagons here potentially. No Grand Skyfall this time from Sonic Ab means he'll have to walk his way into this one here. They do pop the Scryer's Orb, the Ornhorn being sounded. Loco Spoon gonna get knocked up, gonna get taken down, and the smite fight happens. Sonic Abs manages to steal this one in the equal smite fight here, both level 8, and now Granddaddy Jack's trying to survive, trying to get away, will not be able to find that. It's going to be Dolphin picking up this one. The knock-up going to be applied onto XX Wolf, going to force the flash out, and that's going to be the ADC flashless here, but still alive for now. And really, for the side of Imagine Wagons, their dragon control has been very weak this game. Their bot lane not rotating up fast enough to help them shred it. And Granddaddy Jack's just not able to smite secure these objectives either. And that's just been costing them so much. Both these Drakes in this game here were started up by Granddaddy Jack's, but he ends up dying both times here. And they're going to end up losing not only the dragon, but the two turrets here. All their outer turrets have been taken down. Now Spenlow has to be careful, is getting caught out here. The stun comes across. Can he get away? No, because Dolphin lands the root, and they're going to pick Spenlow up once again. Now Loco Spoon has to be careful. There's a team not completely with him, but Dolphin gets tossed backwards into the team. Still alive for now, still putting damage. That's going to give Sonic Abs a kill onto XX Wolf, but he will not get out unscathed here. And now the Singe has arrived. He's doing so much work, just separating people, applying damage. But Judas has finally arrived, and he's putting down the fire here, spitting them flames. And he does manage to get a double kill onto Loco Spoon as well as Granddaddy Jackson. We see Wild Goose Chase going down for the triple there. He is low, but he does get out alive. Judas is a monster. God-like here for his team. Basically, wherever Judas goes, there Imagine Wagons falls. They need to find some way back into the game. They need to do it by exploiting Dolphin Judas. If we take a quick look at the gold lead right now, 500 in the top lane at 15 minutes is basically negligible in the jungle. Sonic Abs is up about 1,000 gold, but that is a Sejuani. She doesn't need as much gold. She's more utility at this point and tank than anything else in that bot lane here. XX Wolf down about 700 gold. and Spenlow down about 1,000 for himself, or 800 gold. So really the difference primarily sitting in that mid lane where it's almost a 4,000 gold lead here from Judas, and he's up 3,000 from anyone on Imagine Wagons. It's just the Judas show right now. It's very, very similar to game 1 here, and his champion pool is so deep. What are you going to do against Judas? You can't ban him out. You can't beat him, and now he's again incredibly fed and making very, very good use of it. And it looks like we do see the Ornhorn coming out, almost finding Wild Goose Chase, but Granddaddy Jax was in the area. But showing there means that bot side, they will know that the maximum amount of people is only 3 people, and they're squishy as well. So Judas here looking potentially to punish any overextend. SSJR going in, looking to just get vision down. And now we see most of the Imagine Wagons congregating around that bot side inner turret. They want to try and keep it alive, but they're getting dragged back and forth between the mid and bot lane here as Truedoc and Dolphin were pushing that up. But now it looks like they're just going to back off and sit. There's no objectives. There's really no reason to back off here. It's going to be 1.5 minutes before Inferno comes up. The Herald is available, but they're not rotating towards that either. So instead, it looks like they're trying to set up a death push, and they might find Granddaddy Jax here. He's been corralled in, and we do see Truedoc looking, will not land the knockup, and he's going to be able to just dash over the wall, keep himself safe for now. Instead, it's going to be Truedoc taking quite a bit of return poke there. And speaking of that Herald from earlier, it's Wild Goose Chase actually going to start this one up. He should be able to take it down alone. First item built for him was the Righteous Glory, so not going to have enough damage, and he's going to back off as soon as he sees Sonic Abs making his way there. And despite their strength right now, DoV Chaos showing a reluctance to really force the towers here. They don't feel confident enough because their Fed member is Judas, and he is a melee champion here. His ranged harpoons do a lot of work, but still not going to be quite enough to take these turrets, and they don't feel comfortable with the sieges, so they end up just rotating a lot. The Herald now is picked up by Sonic Abs. Wild Goose Chase was trying to deter him, but there's nothing he can do. He doesn't have a smite, and so Sonic Abs really no reason to fear him. We'll be able to pick that one up, and with that, maybe DoV Chaos with Shelly and the next Drake here, the Inferno Drake, might feel a bit more comfortable sieging up turrets, trying to crack the inner turrets here for themselves. And if they can crack that mid lane inner turret, it will enable them to do a 1-3-1 or a 1-4 split push that much easier. Final Spark coming across, but it was too early. Will not be able to pick up the Inferno Drake, and that's going to be a safe take here for DoV Chaos as they get themselves to Soul Point at 19 minutes. Unfortunately for the side of Imagine Wagons, Game 2 not looking like it's going much better than Game 1 here. Game 1 got absolutely cracked open in the mid game, but from right off the bat here, DoV Chaos has had the lead in this Game 2, and if you are Imagine Wagons, you just need to stall out right now. That's your comeback plan. You've got the Jinx, you've got the Cinch. Both of these champions skill exceedingly well into the late game. Lux as well actually does eventually outskill the Rumble, so with all the cooldown reduction, with a lot of those rotations, the poke, the range as well, you just need to give your team time to scale back, and you need to make sure that they are getting the farm. And Wild Goose Chase right now has to be careful he does not get picked off. Does take a chunk of his damage, but that's a cinch. Will be able to run away. And the Abyssal Mask now complete for Truedoc. You saw how little damage he's taking with that, with the Merc Treads as well as the Abyssal Mask there from Wild Goose Chase. So Wild Goose Chase no longer able to do that. His best bet is going to just be to proxy for now. We do see Dolphin getting rooted here, the slow as well, but they're not going to follow because SSJ was threatening from the side as well. And if they can get a pick onto Judas, onto Dolphin, they could potentially look to just get a cheeky kill, but the main point here is simply just to stall as long as they can. Wild Goose Chase just needs to proxy a little harder here, I think. Like, he doesn't want to be stuck under his turret too close because Truedoc could potentially dive this. Does not have a lot of armor yet, but does have his team and does have health as well. So potentially risky to just let them keep shoving into his turret. And we do see DoV Chaos looking to rotate into this top side right now. The drain coming from SSJR, the rest of his team coming as well. And Loco Spoon is spot out in that bot lane. Does have teleport available though, so will be able to join the team if a team fight were to break out. And unfortunately for DoV Chaos, their window has closed. All of Imagine Wagons now rotating to that top side except for Loco Spoon there. And even Loco Spoon is trying to walk his way in. We might see a fight break out here, and it will be dicey for both teams. Crowstorm coming from SSJR. He does not have a stopwatch, but he doesn't need it. He's tanky enough, and he's doing so much damage into the backline here. XX barely surviving. Spendo having to use the wall growth on himself, but XX stepped out a little too far back into the flamethrower of Judas. Will get torched down here, and the flamethrower is going to be able to find Loco most likely. These shields coming out will not be enough. Judas solo killing there, and now looking for Granddaddy Jax as well. We saw Wild Cruise Chase caught on the back end of that, way too far overextended. He goes down, and now Spenlo getting dove by 5. And this is probably going to be game. Shelly just getting charge after charge off. The inhibitor turret goes down. The inhibitor goes down as well. Shelly looking to get one more charge off into the Nexus turrets, and he can do so much damage. It's almost dead with that one charge. Easy auto attack will take it down. Instead, they're being forced back out because XX Wolf and Granddaddy Jax are here. And they're all low on the side of DoV Chaos here. SSJR might go down, but there's no Super Mega Death Rock, and since the auto gonna find him. And we do see Granddaddy Jax taken low, but Sonic Abs has to be careful. He is not tanky at all. Truedock gonna walk into that final spark. Gonna get burst down here. And suddenly, Imagine Wagons finding themselves with 2 kills out of that chaos. Potentially a third one here as Dolphin has the flash to safety there. Should not have stuck around. Does not have the auto attack speed to effectively clear that. Instead, it's going to be Judas turning the tides. The equalizer comes across. He's going to be able to find 1. Can he find 2? Yes, he can. Instead, it's going to be Sonic Abyss taking that second one onto Granddaddy Jackson. It looked promising for Imagine Wagons for a comeback. They found 2 kills. But their overextension, their overchasing costs them any advantage they got there. Instead, they're going to lose the inhibitor, almost lose the Nexus turret as well, and not find anything for it instead. Super Mega Death Rocket coming across will not find anybody, as everybody has already based, and DoV Chaos is going to set their eyes on that dragon. Look for the Infernal Soul, for themselves here. On the side of Imagine Wagons, they just have no way to contest this. They're desperately just trying to clear minions out of their base here. Wild Cruise Chase continuing to extend very far out, feeling safe on that Singed. He has the Boots of Swiftness, he has the Righteous Glory, but he still can't contest this, and he does end up having to go back to base as Loco Spoon taking a lot of damage here from Super Minion. And Truedock just on zoning duty here, looking to find something. The Ornhorn being sounded there in the choke point, and we do see Exiful just getting completely burst down. The double brittle along with Judas just staring at him is going to be able to pop him there, and that's going to be legendary. What on earth? A good flip brings Truedock into the enemy base. Equalizer going to come down, but it will not be enough. Truedock has no way back out, does not have the flash available. And that will be Truedock eventually going down here. It's going to be Spenlo picking that one up. Not who you wanted to see it on here. But I guess any kill is a good kill right now for Imagine Wagons. They do lose the inner turrets here in the mid lane. Bot lane, Sonic Abs is actually going to be the one to proxy past the turret here, but should be able to take this soon. And now it's going to be just the inhibitor shell left for the side of Imagine Wagons. DoV Chaos going to play this by the book. They're not going to push in too much, it looks like. Instead, they're going to go for the Baron instead. And it looks like they're a little split here, trying to decide whether they want to try and push in this mid wave or go to Baron. But really, Sonic Abs and Truedock are not with them here, so we'll have to end up backing off for now. And instead, their bases are very staggered here. Judas only now going to base as well. And we do see the pings coming down for the Baron. DOV Chaos trying to live up to their name here, being a little chaotic. They've sent Judas down to the bottom lane. He does have teleport, can rejoin his team as well should a fight break out. But I think they do actually need his Leandries for this Baron here, because Dolphin on the Senna, while she does do damage, is not the best at shutting down tanky things, and the Baron is nothing if not tanky here. Hello, does have to be careful though, taking quite a bit of damage. Granddaddy Jack's gonna show up, but not sure this is what he wanted. Ornhorn gonna be sounded across, and they're not even gonna need the Brittle proc. Just the Ornhorn alone does so much damage. Now Grand Skyfall, they are looking for Wild Goose Chase, but it's just gonna be that, a Wild Goose Chase indeed, because that is a cinch, applying poison here. And he does not manage to distract anybody from DOV Chaos very long here. Instead, they're looking for a kill in the mid lane, a beautiful snare to stop Sonic Abs for now, but it might not be enough. Loco Spoon most likely still gonna go down onto this one here. Wild Growth use did not save him, and Wild Goose Chase now just trying to buy time, did manage to clear out the wave. They're gonna face tank this one. Sonic Abs taking quite a bit of damage, has to be careful he doesn't go down here. Goes golden here, perhaps a little unnecessarily, but they do finally crack that inhibitor turret. They're now onto the inhibitor, and that's going to be the mid lane inhibitor down. The top lane has respawned though. And DOV Chaos, what are they going to do next? They're not following the script here. They're going to that top lane inhibitor instead, but that's just Truodok and Sonic Abs here. They might potentially go down in the midst of 3 or 4 here if Wild Goose Chase comes back and cuts off his escape. Wild Goose Chase is actually opting to flash, interestingly enough. Did not feel comfortable just running into the waiting arms of his team in that top lane, and that's going to be flashed down for Wild Goose Chase for now. And might we perhaps finally see DOV Chaos finally head to that Baron? Unlikely, as both Sonic Abs and Dolphin instead up to base once again. Judas joining them as well. Ornhorn being sounded once again. We already saw it's more than enough burst to take Granddaddy Jax down, but instead it's going to be SSJR picking up the kill credit for that one. Loco Spoon soon to follow as well, and Imagines once more with the overchase. I think their mental here has been broken a little bit. The kill score now 30-11 here, and DOV Chaos just playing with their food a little bit. Continuing to opt to chase Wild Goose Chase repeatedly rather than focusing on trying to close the game out here. They do manage to stand up Wild Goose Chase. The snare does not land, and so that's just going to be a little bit of poke. But in the base, I mean, there's really not much issue with health. He can always just go back, regenerate. Does get hit by another snare, but will not be able to take him down. And finally, the Nexus turret goes down as the super minions, the only people here focused on ending the game, get to take it down. Granddaddy Jack's gonna go down once again. He's now 2-9-6 right now. Highest deaths on his team, tied with Loco Spoon. They're trying to apply damage still, but they have to be careful. XX Wolf able to just free fire. They're gonna shoot out the Mega Death Rocket, but will not be able to find Sonic Abs. And Judas going in will find XX Wolf instead. Loco Spoon now the highest deaths on their team. 3, 10, and 5, and finally we might see the end of the game here. DOV Chaos running out of targets, only Spenlow left alive, and they will finally take down the Nexus at 29.5 minutes here. This game should have been over a lot sooner, but DOV Chaos just confident in their victory, wanting to pad their KDA a little bit. And for game 2 here, what is there to say really? DOV Chaos just popping off, specifically Dolphin Judas in that mid lane. Just 17-1-6 in this game is roughly half his team's kills right now. Just, he popped off, and there's nothing to say from Imagine Wagons. They found 0 ways to get back into the game. Ended up losing across the board as well, and just this series as a whole, Imagine Wagons not really able to put up much of a fight. And I hope that this is just them having an off week here, because if this is the way they're going to play out the rest of the season here, they're going to have problems trying to find any sort of wins here. The teams in Demacia are not as weak as to just keel over and die like that. And that lane swap, the roster change, sending Wild Goose Chase into the top lane, bringing in Loco Spoon, did not work out at all for them here. And they are going to need to find something a bit different for themselves. Wagons in that top lane did decently. I mean, he was a Singe, was expected he'd lose early, and he did his best trying to distract the rest of DOV Chaos towards the end game there. But the mid lane, Local Spoon's Lux was supposed to be a counter pick into that Rumble too, and just did not manage to find anything in that mid lane. So very, very unfortunate for them. And with that, the series is over. Congratulations to DOV Chaos as they continue to keep their undefeated streak alive here and looking like a really, really strong team, and no one really pushing them yet. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see them play against SFAD, who were the returning champions, which would have been a good match. But with that being said, DOV Chaos now sitting on, I believe it's 4 wins right now. If we include the bye week in week 1. And Imagine Wagons, unfortunately for them, they're going to sit at 2-2 for now, still sitting at second place. And we'll have to see. That's Imagine Wagons, not Warmouth. So they're sitting at 1-3, pardon me, for now. And we'll have to see if that will end up dropping them from third place, as later today at 5 p.m. we will have SFAD versus War Mother's Children. And tomorrow in the afternoon, 1 p.m., we'll have Glacial Omen versus Prismatic Esports there. And that's it for now. We'll see all of you guys back again at 5 p.m. Eastern. Please do join me then. Thank you for tuning in and watching, and have a good one till the next time we see each other.